Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on leveraging AR for targeted website messaging and SEO optimization. I'm Peter Talion, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'll be your host today, and our presenter is Jennifer DeRosa. More on Jennifer in just a minute. Some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is the nonprofit national partner of the Small Business Administration, with over 10,000 volunteers nationally. In Fairfield County, SCORE has about 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer three primary value-added services to small business owners. We provide free one-on-one counseling, either face-to-face, over video, or telephone, or email, and that can be accessed via the Request Mentor link on our website or via the link on the screen. We also provide many educational workshops and webinars, many of them in person around the county. And we have very extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject matter experts at your disposal. Our next live webinar is Tuesday, October 8th at noon, and the topic is Launching Your Own Brand, with Ramon Peralta presenting. Look for the specifics at fairfieldcounty.score.org. We also have a large number of recorded webinars on our website that cover a very wide range of business topics. These can be viewed at any time by clicking on On-Demand Webinars. Today's event, we have set aside time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen at any time during the presentation. That's the better way of doing it rather than putting it into the chat. Our webinar will end sharply at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next day or so. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Jennifer DeRosa. Jennifer is the founder of Toto Coaching, an online website building course with weekly coaching to help small businesses and entrepreneurs build a solid, effective website. She's an MIT graduate in no-code AI and ML, and the author of Building DIY Websites for Dummies. Prior to forming Toto Coaching, Jennifer sold her successful website development agency, TechCare, so she could focus on coaching others. Prior to forming TechCare, Jennifer was a consultant for such major companies as NBCC, US Surgical, GTE, GE Capital, Unilever, and Calvin Klein. Jennifer has done a number of presentations for SCORE, and she always comes back by popular demand. It's now my pleasure to turn it over to you, Jennifer. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to hopefully learn a lot. So I think the title there I got all of a sudden panicked. I had a panic attack. So this is how to optimize a web page for search engines step by step. And these are the things that if you are building a website or if you have a website that was built for you and you're really not getting any traction and you're not really sure why and you want to make your website better, these are the things that you need to do to your website. We're going to go over those. And I'm going to give you a lot of valuable information regarding that. So just to start off, if you haven't seen me before, I've been building websites for over 28 years. I learned HTML for fun at night after my day job. I started an agency in 2001, my second agency I started, which I sold. I had a successful exit almost 3 years ago now, so that I could teach people like you how to build a website. So in that time, since I've sold my business, my web development agency, I have written this book, Building DIY Websites for Dummies. And it's got a lot of the information that we're going to learn today is in that book. Okay. I'm also took over a year to create a course online to teach people how to build their own website. It is a lot of the same information that's in the book as well, But it's all the things that nobody's teaching you. So, when you see these ads online, you can build a website over a weekend. I just saw one last night or the night before, but GoDaddy's doing a lot of them. Just like a couple clicks and like your website's built. It's like, no, that doesn't make a website that search engines love, that they want to return. It helps you use the software. You can use the software. That's what you can use, but it doesn't teach you how to do all of the things that you need to do that search engines are looking for. Okay. They're not looking to see how well you use software. They're looking for other things. And some of those things we're going to teach you today. Okay. And I'm also the founder of Toto SEO. So at Toto SEO, we do SEO services for our clients. That's what we do. And we do all these things that I'm going to be teaching you. These are some of the things that we do. And then, as Peter mentioned, I'm a graduate of a program at MIT on artificial intelligence and machine learning, building data science solutions, which is, something that we all know about these days. And I do some other webinars for SCORE on artificial intelligence. If you are able to catch one of those, I'd love to have you. So I do have a worksheet for you if you want to get it. This is, you can go by the link, the bit.ly link. So it's bit.ly/Toto optimize web page. It's kind of long there. And one of the things actually I want to share with you, which is kind of funny. So when you're registering your domain name, I go over this in my book. It's like one of the first chapters and in the course and everything. One of the things you want to look for is what is in the URL. What does it spell out? So isn't it funny? This spells out tutup, right? It looks like that. I just wanted to mention that because that's something you need to be aware of when you're registering your domain name. That's like one of the things that GoDaddy doesn't tell you that I do mention. And you need to do. But anyways, you can get this if you want. I'll have it up at the end as well. Okay, and it goes over examples of what I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so it can be fresh in your mind. All right, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about the basics of keyword research. We're going to talk about how to optimize crucial on-page elements. We're going to talk a little bit about URL and image optimization, content optimization, and the last bullet, actually, I really don't go over too much. So anyways, so let's get going. So I should actually take a step back. Let me take a step back. I should have put a slide in here for this. Let's just define search engine optimization. You probably know what it is, right? It stands for as SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So what does that mean? Search engines have billions of websites to return, right? They can return lots of them. They're in business. Google's in business, Alphabet, you've heard of Google's in business, right? Bing's in business, Yahoo's in business, DuckDuckGo's in business. All of these search engines, they are companies. They're not nonprofits. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing their job, providing a service, search engine. They're also ad platforms, but that's another story. They are there to provide the best websites. What their goal is to provide the websites, to return the best websites when someone's doing a search, right? So someone's doing a search online for something. You do searches all the time. I do them as well. And the search engine, though, the search engines want to return the best results. Why? If they return crappy results, people won't use them anymore. Have you ever done a search and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot get an answer to this question? Like you just can't get an answer. So you do something else. Maybe you use a different search engine, right? So maybe you're using DuckDuckGo and it's not giving you the answer. So you use Google, or maybe you're using Google and Google is, they've been known, they've just admitted they blocked a lot of stuff, right? So you're not getting it. So then maybe you use DuckDuckGo because Google is censoring some information. Okay. So you use DuckDuckGo. We as consumers will choose someone else. We have options. We all have options. Okay. So what that means is search engines are going to return the best because they don't want you using another option. They don't want you changing the channel. They don't want you going somewhere else. So they need to return the best websites. If your website is not one of the best websites, if there's other websites that are better, they're not going to return your website. It just makes sense, right? Okay. So you want to make sure your website is the best that it can be. The second thing that I want to tell you about search engine optimization is search engines don't know you. They can't talk to you. They're not reading your brochures, or they're not watching you in practice doing whatever you're doing, or talking to your employees if you have them, or your customers. They're not doing that. They're only looking at the content that is presented on your website, okay? And they're using that. Now, years ago, it was literally like whatever words exactly were on your pages, right? That's what it knew about. It would take those words, put it into their index. And then if someone was doing a search online and Google or Bing or the search engine thought your website was a good website, it would return it in the search engine's results page. Someone does a search, that's what comes back, right? That's called the SERP, the search engine's results page. It would come back. Now with AI, and we've evolved, right? So the search engine's methodologies for understanding content on your website have evolved. It's changed. So now they can understand context and they can understand meaning. Kind of like if any of you have used ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or another large language model, any of these tools, Jasper, Word Hero, all these things, right? Copyscape, Grammarly. The computer systems can understand the concepts, right? So it's not about the exact words that are on the page anymore. And that's very important when you think about keyword research, which we're going to be talking about. It's not, it used to have them in the exact right order, right? So you'd have to have, like if you were looking for someone to fix your pool in Fairfield County, so you might have to put Fairfield County pool contractor. That would be one way. Another way might be, pool contractor, Fairfield County. And maybe it would be like, pool repair. Like you'd have to do all these different combinations of words because that's what mattered. Now it matters more, not the exact string of words. It matters more context, and it matters more information on your page. It's called semantic SEO now. But we still start with keyword research because that's still where a searcher begins. I'm a searcher, you're a searcher, right? We're all searchers. A searcher begins online by typing in phrases into a box. And so we need to still care about keyword searches. Okay, we need to care about keywords. So we need to care about keyword research. So SEO still does start with from there. Okay. And then you need to put this information in certain places on your website so that search engines understand what your website is about, and they understand what your offer is. If they don't understand your offer, they cannot offer it to other people, right? So you might have built, I frequently meet with a lot of people, and I'll look at what search engines think their website's about, and it's not at all what they do. It's not at all. So what does that mean? If search engines don't understand what your website's about, they're never going to return it when someone is doing a search for what you offer. So you want to make sure search engine optimization, part of it is about making sure that search engines know what your offer is and understand it completely. They can't guess on a lot of things. They don't know if you're a fence installer. They don't know what materials. Maybe you only do vinyl fences and you do not install composite or wood fences or chain link. They don't know that. Okay. But if you're a fence installer and you install all of those, you need to put all of that information on your website so that it can be indexed. All right. So that is what search engine optimization is about. It's making your website the best that it can be, so that search engines understand what your offer is clearly, and they think it's really a really good website so that they will return it in search, so that they will retain their customers. And if you think about it from this perspective, SEO is not just a task. It's not someone that you hire to do like 4 things. I just looked at someone's SEO proposal the other day, and I'm actually making a video. It's gonna be on my social media probably next week or maybe later this week. So follow Toto Coaching if you want. and you'll see it. And basically I went through the whole proposal and I went into their tasks they were doing. And it's like, I mean, they weren't charging a lot of money. So first of all, that's a red flag, but like what they're offering to do are these tasks that Google doesn't even care about anymore. They're just like basically doing nothing. So you want to make sure if you're going to pay someone to do SEO, or if you are going to do SEO, that you understand that these aren't tasks that we're going to just do. It's about making your website better. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So like I said, we still start with keyword research. We start with keywords. That's where we start. So you want to do good research. That's where you're going to start. Okay. We're actually going to start with your customer. You're going to think about my customer, right? What does my customer want? What are their worries? What are their needs? What are they going to be searching for? And then that's how you start with your keywords. Okay. So you want to make sure, like if you are using the fence example, right? So if I have a fence company, right, what are people going to be searching for? They might search for, maybe they're going to search for like boundaries, or they're going to search for keeping my pets in the yard or things like that, right? Keeping my kids safe. I don't know if they'll be searching for that, but it might be something outside of exactly what your offer is. Okay, they might be looking for a solution to their problems and they don't know that you're the solution. So they might be typing in something about their problem. Okay, so you need to understand your customer. You need to understand their pain points and their worries. Okay, which is done by a buyer persona, or there's some other ways to do it. Okay, and then we come up with our keywords. All right. And when I say understanding your customer, you need to understand their intent. The intent. There's 4 main types of user intent. Informational. We're looking to seek for information. A lot of people choose their keywords here. This is the wrong place to be choosing for keywords if you have an online shopping store. Okay. I will go over that in a second. Navigational. So they're looking for a specific website. So these are usually branded searches. So if you go in and look at your results, right, you might see that you're getting, most of the people that are finding you are doing branded searches. They already know about you. They're typing in your brand. So for me, they'd be typing in Toto SEO, or they'd be typing in Toto coaching, right? For you, they'd be typing in your brand name. That's great, but that doesn't help us get new customers, right? Because they already know about us. Well, I mean, it does if somebody like watches a webinar like this and goes to your website, but I'm saying it doesn't help you get strangers that have never heard of you before, branded. You want to have the branded searches, but you need to more than that. Commercial searches. Okay. So these are people that are kind of they're looking around and they're trying to maybe do some comparison. So maybe like I look for software a lot of times. So if I'm looking for a new project management software, I know that I want project management software, right? So I'm going to be going out and looking at different brands. I might be typing in like reviews about different, the best one or whatever. Okay. So that's like comparison. You're in that area where they're looking to make a decision. And then there's transactional, they're ready to buy. I want to get some software, project management software. I'm ready to purchase, and I know my exact needs. Okay. And if I find that, I'm going to purchase. Okay. So you want to understand that the reason why is, okay, it helps us choose the right words and create the content to satisfy the user's needs. Okay. Because if you are, say you're the software company and you provide project management software. Okay. So that's kind of a difficult one for me to off the top of my head. So say you're a pool, you do pool repairs, right? You go around and you help people repair their pools, right? So say someone who is just like want to know how many gallons is in a pool, right? So they're like, how many gallons is in a 20 by 25 pool? That person might be sitting around a fire having a conversation with someone. They are not buying a pool. They're just looking up information. So remember when I said about user intent, they're in the informational area. If you want people to reach out to you so that you'll repair their pool, that's nice information that they're looking up, but that's not probably, it might help you get some traffic, but also that traffic might come on your website and might leave right away because you've given them the answer and they might it used to be called bounce off. They might not engage with your website. They might leave. They might not go to another page. If Google or search engines see that happens a lot, they come to your website and leave right away without pushing a play button or downloading something. They're going to be like, this website isn't very good. People go here and they don't do anything else. So maybe we shouldn't return it in search anymore. Okay. So you want to be careful about your user intent. Okay. So you want to think of like, if I'm a pool repair company, I want to be going for the words like pool repair or pool contractor or maybe pool installer, the words like that. Okay. So we want to think about that. So think about the user intent is important. There are lots of different tools you can use to do keyword research. Some of these are paid. Most of them are paid. Okay. There's Google Keyword Planner. There's SEMrush, Ahrefs, Moz, Keyword Explorer, Uber Suggest, Backlinko, SpyFu. Sometimes there's a free trial. Okay. Sometimes there's other options. If you don't have the budget, this is what I suggest for you to do. This is an easy way to do keyword research. Go into your search engine of choice, type in the words that you think should be your keywords, put them in. That list that comes back, is that the list that you want to be in? Is that your competition? Are you in that list already? Maybe. Is that the correct list? So if the list that comes back, act like a person who wants your services. If the list that comes back and is not aligned, it doesn't give me, I'm looking for someone to come fix my pool, and I get some other list, right? With Wikipedia and blog posts on it, stuff like that. As a user, I'm going to switch my search. I'm going to refine it, right? So you want to do the same thing. Once you have refined your search and that phrase comes up, that's good. That list is good. What's in the SERP, returned in the SERP is good. That's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. If you don't have a budget, you can start there. Okay. That's number one. So you want to choose keywords, and here are some things you want to think about. Okay. Intent, we just talked about that, right? What's the user's intent? Are they looking just to get some information to find out how many gallons in a pool? Or are they want someone to come out and fix the problem? Okay. The competition. How difficult is it to rank for this keyword? If you do that, what I just told you before, you put the words into your search engine of choice and see if that list comes up. That's not going to tell you how competitive the keyword is. Okay. You need to use another tool to do that. If a keyword phrase is very difficult to rank for, and your website is not one of the better ones, you are not going to get returned in the search. You're just not going to get returned in the search, right? So thinking it's kind of like, I've used this example before. If I wanted to compete in the Olympics that we just had, right? And I wanted to compete for gymnastics, I cannot do a handstand. I don't think that they're going to pick me for the Olympics. They're going to pick the best ones. Spots 1, 2, and 3 are going to be picked by the best ones, the people who have been doing all the work. So if your website is not really great, you cannot go for those you can't go for the handstand. You're going to have to do a different competition with your friends. Okay. And you're going to have to figure something else out. You're going to have to go for lower competitive keywords. Okay. Things that are lower competition. So that is a very, very important factor to look at when you are choosing keywords. And then you want to look at the search volume. So how many people are searching for this term? If 0 people are searching for that term, then that's not really probably a good term to go for. But I work with my clients, and even if there's just a low amount, some people are in a very niche industry. So there's not a lot of searches for what they do. One of my clients works in the 340B space. Okay. So that is this really, really, really niche space where pharmacies and certain healthcare providers can participate in this program, and they get special drug pricing, and it's governed by the government. It's very niche. Okay. He's not going to have a lot of, when I go look at the volume for his keywords, he's not going to have a lot of volume for his keywords. He's just not. There's not a lot of people searching for that. But that's okay, because even if there's only like 30 searches done a month for that keyword term, imagine if he got all 30. Imagine if you were able to get all 30. Would you be happy about that? If you had 30 customers that converted? Okay. So I do look at volume. I look and use generally when there's more volume for a search term, it's going to be more competitive. Okay. So, you look at all 3 of these things: the intent, the competition, and the search volume. All right. And where's the sweet spot? Okay. The sweet spot is keywords with the right intent, decent search volume, and manageable competition. Okay. It can be time consuming to figure out these words. It's not something you do in 2 seconds. Okay. You want to be thoughtful about this. Okay. For example, I have given you an example. A local bakery might find it challenging to rank for best cakes, right? But it could have success for best custom birthday cakes in their town. Do you see that? Okay. We can't see the whole page. I'm sorry. You know what? I moved this. I'm sorry. Can you see the whole page now? Canva changed how they presenting the opposite window. So hopefully everyone can see this, right? Okay. So hopefully you can see my whole page. So now let's talk about on-page optimization essentials. Okay, so these are things that you want to do. So once we have our keywords chosen, okay, we're going to choose them. Now we're going to work on optimizing our pages. So here's where the rubber meets the road. Here's the work, okay, that you need to do. Here's your list. First of all, you're going to assign each page a primary keyword and some secondary keywords, okay? So you're going to assign them out. You're not going to use the same keyword phrase you're not going to try to go for the same keyword phrase on every page of your website. That is called cannibalization. You're going to cannibalize yourself. So you want to assign each page a different primary keyword. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't put the words that you're going for on your homepage on your about page or one of your service pages. All right. So don't get hung up on that. That's not what it means. It just means when we're optimizing, we're going to do a bunch of things to one page with one keyword phrase in mind, and we're going to do a bunch of things to another page with a different keyword phrase in mind. Okay. But you don't want to use the same one for multiple pages. So that's number one. Okay, so they're assigned, right? So we got them all assigned. What are we going to do first? Well, you can do these in any order, by the way. But one of the things you want to do is do the title tag. So this is one of a page on my website. So it's SEO for the aviation industry. And that is the title of the page. Actually, I have updated it since I made this slide. So now it says Toto SEO with it, I think. But anyways, that is the title tag. That's where the title tag appears. This is a screenshot from the SERP, the search engine's results page. When you type something in that list that comes back, right? That's where your title is going to appear and your meta description. But your title is this, the words that are clickable. When you are writing this, you need to think about the user's intent. What do they want to know? What do they want to understand? What do they want to do? Okay, so that's what you want to think about when you're writing those. And you're going to put your keywords in the title tag. Okay, you're going to put the keywords in your title tag. Okay, what are rules for title tags? They need to be under 600 pixels wide, more or less than 60 characters. Okay, you can't just go by the number of characters. Do you want to know why? We have a box that's so wide. If your title was all eyes, you're going to be able to put in a lot of eyes. But if your title was all O's, you're going to be able to put in less. Okay, so that's why we use 60 characters as a guide, not as a hard and fast rule. So it's really 600 pixels wide. If you can find a tool, we use a tool at Toto SEO. And in my course, I have a course that teaches you how to do all these things. It teaches you how to do your own SEO. Okay, it's on my Toto coaching website. So that course teaches you how to use the tool that we use at Toto SEO. We use a tool that we put in your title tag and it tells us if it's too fat or if it's the right, if it fits. Okay. So you just want to be careful about that. What will happen if it's too fat? You'll see some dots, you'll have 3 dots and you won't see the full title tag. It will cut off. All right. So you want to try to get it to fit. All right. So that for users, it looks nice. You want to try to include the primary keyword near the beginning, if you can. And remember what I just said about user intent. You want to make it compelling so users will click on it. Okay, so you want to think of what you want to write so that users are going to click, thinking of the user intent. All right, going along with your title tags are your meta descriptions. Okay, so meta descriptions are what appears here. So that little section right there. So it's the description below. This again, we have size constraints. Okay, so it needs to be under 960 pixels wide, which is more, I always want to say in Italian, I don't know why people may know, more or less is 155 characters. Okay, I need a trailing, sorry, I need a trailing parenthesis on that. 155 characters. So about that. for roughly, okay? But like I said, if it's all O's or fat letters, it's going to be less. And if it's thin, skinny characters, it's going to be small. Okay. And if it's too big, again, it's going to trail off. If it's too small, the whole thing will show, but then you're not taking advantage of all that space there. And this is a ranking factor, by the way. You want to use your primary keyword, preferably near the beginning, if you can. Here, you want to use action-oriented language, all right? Considering our user intent, what is the action we want them to take? Do we want them to learn something? Do we want them to buy now? Do we want them to know we have free shipping? Do we have free returns? Do we want to know that we have, you know, a 5-star rating? Like, what is it that's going to get someone to come down and come to our establishment, or get them to click on our website and maybe make a purchase or engage with us? All right. So that's what we want to do with our keyword phrase, is put it in the title tag and the meta description. Okay. So those don't show on the page itself, but you usually put them when it depends on what platform you're using, okay, for your website, but you put them, they're attached to the page. Okay. Every page has a title and meta description. Now, if you have not set a title and meta description, what will happen? Search engines will pick one for you. And sometimes it's really ugly. Sometimes they pick like your menu at the top, and it won't make any sense. Okay. It'll look terrible, right? Or they'll just grab the beginning words off your page, which may not be at all what you want to say. So you want to try and set your title and meta descriptions if you can. Okay. Next, header tags. We want to use, or heading tags, I should say. We want to use heading tags. Okay. So heading tags, if you have built your website, then you probably know about them. When you highlight text on your website, you can set it as a pair. Sometimes it's called paragraph. Sometimes it's called body. Sometimes it's called normal. Might be called, it's my dog, sorry. It might be called other things. Okay. For the regular text, depending on your platform. Some text can be heading. You can highlight it and say, what do you want this to be? I want it to be a heading. A heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. They go down to 6, 1 through 6. 1 H1 per page. Needs to be the top thing on your website. We want it to be the top on every page. Do you know why? It's for screen readers. Screen readers, for people who have disabilities, cannot see that well. And so they might have a screen reader reading to them the page, and the screen reader uses the heading tag so it knows how to break up the content, and it wants the H1 first. Okay. Search engines want that too. So you're going to, on the heading 1, you're going to put your keywords in that. Okay. You're going to use your primary keyword in it. You're going to put 1. Okay. Then you're going to use H2s and H3s to break up the content, and you're going to include secondary keywords in those as well. And you want to maintain a logical hierarchy. I see this mistake all the time. So one of the things I do is I do a website audit for people who want me to audit their website. I do a private, I just review your website, you know, for 15, 20 minutes. I look at it and I tell you things that you can fix. Okay. A lot of people will skip H2 on certain pages. They'll put in H1 and then they'll start using H3s because they want it for design, because they're like, oh, the H2 is too big, so I want a smaller one. No, don't do that. Put the second one as an H2 and resize it if you don't like the size. But H2s come next, and then H3s. It's just like when we were in middle school and we did outlines. Remember that? You do an outline, you do Roman numeral, and then underneath that you do 1, 2, 3, right? And if you had something on 1, 2, 3 underneath it, you'd have A, B, C, right? So that's how it would go. All right. So you need to do the same. You want to do the same on your website. So you want to maintain that logical hierarchy. Okay. Next, URL structure. Yeah, I know there's some stuff going on in the chat, but you know, try to be nice. And I don't know if we really need to say that, because most of us are adults here, but we are in an adult situation. And if you want to evangelize, whatever, this is probably not the place to do that, because people are here to learn about SEO and they're here to learn about something. So let's just try to do that. I don't know how to get rid of any of those, but let's just try to be adults, because I am. Anyways, I'm trying to teach you all something. URL structure. Let's talk about URL structure. URL. Okay. Most of you know what that is, but in case you don't know what that is, that's the path, or, you know, you type in like www.whatever.com/something, right? So we'll see that online on an advertisement, right? So you'll see that online, like, on an advertisement, it'll be like, go to, you know, whatever, like GoDaddy / whatever, right? That's your URL. That's a URL. Every page has a URL. a lot of things on your assets, on your websites, PDFs, images, whatever. But anyways, all pages and posts, they have a URL. Okay, so way to get to it. You want to think about that. You want to think about your URL structure. First of all, we're not going to put all our words smushed together. Okay, so if you going back to my pool contractor, you're not going to have like pool repair. You're not going to have like, say you're going to have whatever your website is, .com/, you're not going to put pool repair services all smushed together. No, you're going to put pool repair services. No spaces. If you keep spaces, it's replaced with a %20. Why? It's a computer. When a computer hits the space, it thinks it's at the end. We'll stop. So if you put spaces in there, it's not going to get the whole URL and you're going to get a 404 page, right? So that's why automatically most programs nowadays, it didn't used to, but most platforms nowadays, and if you have a space in there, will insert a %20 so that there's no end. So we don't get to the end and it will keep going. So, but we don't want %20s. We want nice URLs. So you want to use hyphens instead of spaces. You want to use your target keywords. You want to use your target keywords in the URLs. Okay. So put those words in there. Okay. Put them in. Look at your URLs that you have now. Is it like /services? That's not helpful. Everyone has services. What are your services? Pool-repair-services. That's better. Keep them short and avoid stop words. What are stop words? Stop words are words like and, the, of, those kind of words. Okay. You're going to take those out. Those are not helpful. Okay. They're called stop words. So we want to keep them. We don't want really super long. I had on my website, I didn't even notice one time because I had different people working on it with me and my URLs were like super long. I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to trim these up. I probably need to do another pass on that. So keep them, if you're doing a lot of blog posts and stuff, usually your blog post ends up being by default the name of the title of the article. And sometimes those are really long. So you want to go back once in a while and make sure you fix them. Okay. Make them shorter. You have to do redirects though, if you do that. I'm not going to go into that here, but you need to look that up. Redirects are really important. Otherwise you'll get 404 page. And then you want to nest your pages. So this is when I talk about the URL structure. So if you have like, pool-repair-services, right? So then under that, you might have services that make that up, pool repair services, and those would be different pages underneath that. Okay, so what might those be? One might be like fiberglass dash crack dash, pool dash, like pool fiberglass dash pool dash crack dash repair. Okay. And then maybe you might have a problem with your pump. So it might be pool dash pump dash repair, right? You get the idea, right? And those are all underneath pool dash services or pool repair services, right? And so you have that URL / and then so you want to make sure when you look at this structure, if you can nest the pages and it looks nice, it actually helps search engines understand what the page is about and what the content is. All right. And then we want to do image optimization. What do we want to do for our images? Okay. So we want to, number one, use descriptive file names. This is someone on my team who just uploaded. I was looking at something today and they uploaded some file. Like most people don't do this, and it's not most of the time. It just happened to be a mistake, or maybe it was someone I hired a while ago. Named one of my images like 5. Like that, what does 5 mean? You want to name your images with words, right? Separated by hyphens. So name them with words, your keywords, okay? You want to add alternate text. Alternate text, okay, is not like a huge ranking factor. It helps, certainly. It is not the number one thing you need to be doing. If you're paying someone to do alternate text, you are probably wasting your money, all right? I would probably stop spending that money. And you can use it more wisely. Go out to dinner with your family or something. So the alternate text is just on the images to let screen readers know what the person who can't see very well, what they're missing. All right, that's what it's for. But we want to try to put some keywords in there, all right, if we can. Helps a little bit. So you want to add the alternate text when you can. You want to compress images for faster load times. Do not take an image, a photo with your phone and upload it to your website like that. It is going to be too big. Or don't download a stock photography that is 25. I see this a lot, 25 megs. Download a file and then they're going to upload it straight to their website. No, they need to be under, you want them as small as possible. So we try to get them under 500 kilobytes, which is half a meg, 1/2 of a meg, not 25. Okay. So you want to get this small. There's tools to use to do that, but you want to get them, it's small. And then you want to use proper dimensions. If you're using this image like on the side of some text, right? You don't need it 5,000 pixels wide. The maximum you need it really is maybe 2,500 pixels wide for someone with a big screen. All right, 2,500, that's, 2,500, that's a big one. If you know that it's going to go all the way across. If you know that it's only going to be on half the page, set it to, 700 pixels wide or 500 or whatever, a smaller number. It will make it smaller. That matters. This matters because you want your website to be fast, okay, which we're going to be talking about, which is part of search engine optimization. Let's talk about content optimization. Content is king, but not all of it is created equal. Search engines prefer content that is comprehensive. That means I know you don't want to write a lot, and I know you don't have time. I've heard it from almost every single one of my customers for over 24 years. I know. I don't like to write a lot either, but you have to if you want to really get your website to rank. How serious are you? And there's ways that you can help. We help our clients write their content. Okay? There's ways that you can get help. You want to make sure that it's well structured. I've talked a little bit about that, using heading tags properly. Okay. You also want to make sure you break it up with headings. Okay. Break it up into small bits. People don't want to read a big book. They don't want to see a big, huge sea of letters on the page. They will not read it. Would you read it? No, you probably wouldn't. Okay. Maybe some of you would if you're scholarly and if it's a scholarly article, obviously it's going to be that way, or medical, right? Those are going to be long research papers. That's fine. But most of us are not looking at medical or research. We just want the information we want to get and we want to skim the page. So make it skimmable. Break up your content with headings. Okay. And then update it regularly. Search engines favor content that's been updated. If you built your website like 5 years ago and you have not updated your website pages, today's the day. Go in and update it. Make some changes. The updated date is published to search engines and they know what day you updated it. They know the time and they know the date that it was updated. Okay. That is stored and they know that and they look at that and they like that. They like content that's more updated. Okay. And they want content that's unique and valuable to users. Unique is key. There's an update called the HCU out, helpful content update. If you do not publish helpful content, if you just use ChatGPT or Claude or something to write a whole bunch of articles about your topics, okay, that is regurgitated information. Do you know where Claude and ChatGPT got that information from? They got it from the internet. That is what they're trained on. They're trained on internet data. That means it's already out there. Do you know what that means? It's not valuable and unique. You need to put in your information, what you know about it, what happens next, what were situations that you saw that if they didn't do this, that this happened, or they did do this, what happened? You need to put that in there and you need to put all of your offer in there. What do you offer? Okay. It needs to be complete. Okay. And we want to use keywords in our content. All right. We want to use the primary keyword in the first 100 to 150 words. We want to use variation and related terms throughout the content. Okay. We want to avoid keyword stuffing. Okay. And we want to employ semantic SEO strategies. What that means is remember what I said in the beginning of this. Putting keywords on your website used to be about like literally listing them in all the different orders and the different combinations. We don't do that anymore. Now, search engines can understand your content by the context semantically. So there's all this other supportive content that you want to put on your website, other words that people would use when they're talking about this. If they're talking about a fiberglass pool repair crack, they're probably going to talk about the lining. They're probably going to talk about the age. They're probably going to talk about the materials that the fiberglass is made out of. Okay. They're going to talk about, that's what I'm talking about. That's semantic SEO. Okay. So the goal is to write for humans first and search engines second. Don't just stuff the keywords in there. We still see websites that people do that. It's ridiculous. and it can be tricky to maintain. Okay. Let's talk about content structure because it's 12:45 and I want to take some questions. Okay. So make sure you pop them in the Q&A if you want to have them answered. So the content structure, I've mentioned this a couple times. Let's just talk about it again. We're going to use short paragraphs and sentences for easy readability. We're going to incorporate bullet points, numbered lists. Those are all good. We love bullets and numbered lists, okay? People like them and search engines like them. We're going to add relevant internal and external links. So every page you want to think, if someone's on this page, where would they want to go on my website? That internal linking structure is a whole other thing in and of itself. The number of links that your website has to each page is publicly available. So your about page, it's going to know that, oh, there's 10 incoming links from other pages on this website to my about page. Oh, there's 15 to this product. If there's 15 to this product and every other page only has a couple, Google and search engines are going to think that page is the most important because you have a lot of links to it. So the internal linking structure matters, and you want to remember to use subheadings, H2s and H3s, okay? Content. People always like, well, how much do I have to write? I have to write a lot. It's not really a length. In-depth, comprehensive. Think about that, okay? And as I mentioned, search engines love fresh content. They love it. That's what they love. They're in love with fresh content. What does that mean? Right? We want to promote this love affair, right? With search engines with our website. We want to promote this. Okay. So be Cupid. We want to create content calendars. Content calendar is like, what are you going to be writing about on your blog or wherever for the articles on your website for the next upcoming month, year, whatever. Okay. Plan it out. Plan out what you're going to be writing. Get on a schedule. I know you're busy. See if you can carve out some time. I do some other webinars where I teach you how to write it quickly. That's what we help our clients with. We do that. You want to update current content. Go in. Just make some updates on your current content. Is it right? Is it wrong? Have things changed? Do you do something different now? Do you have a different process? Whatever it is, add some more content to your website or create new pages. Okay. And remembering, you want to creating and maintaining optimized content across an entire website is ongoing. This is not something you do and say, oh, I'm done. Whew, I'm done. You want to be updating it all the time. Consistent effort. Okay. And if you don't do it, you don't have to. But if your competition's doing it, then they're going to get your leads. So you pick what you want. Okay. Advanced SEO. I'm going to go through this quickly because it's 12:47 and I spent a lot of time on these basics. I wanted to go over schema markup. This is more advanced. You can use schema markup for local businesses, products, FAQs, recipes, events. Basically, it's putting information almost in fields, like a form field, okay? And when they're put into fields, search engines can read it better, okay? Just like a doctor, when they come in your office, right? When you fill out all those fields on a form or anything you're signing up for, right? The people that are in charge of the registration know to look for the particular information, okay? I just signed up for this thing. It's called 48 and 48. We build 48 websites for nonprofits in 48 hours for free. It's volunteers all over the globe, right? So it's going to happen in 2 weeks. When I had to fill out my form, I had to put particular information in particular places. And so that the people who are running the event can know, oh, if they want to know, oh, how long has she been, building websites, they can go right to that section and see my answer, right? So that is what schema markup is. It's basically putting particular information in particular places. Search engines love it. If you have a local business, that is low hanging fruit. You need to have local structured data on your website. Okay. Page indexing. You want to look at your page indexing. You go into Google Search Console. Do you have some pages that are not being indexed? So sometimes when you write content, Google is not going to include it in their in their index. You know what that means? If it's not included in their index, it will never get returned when someone's doing a search. Never. So now you spent all this time doing all this work and they're never going to return it. You need to go in and ask to index the page. Sometimes it depends on the website. Sometimes you have to go in and be like, hey, we index this. And then sometimes Google will index it and sometimes they won't. So you need to check your page indexing, right? Sometimes you can't get it indexed because it's low quality. If it's low quality, they're not going to index it, right? Or as duplicate content. Do not copy from another website or copy content from your website on multiple pages. That duplicate content, that is a no. That is plagiarism sometimes, right? We know about all the people. My daughter went to University of South Carolina, and the commandant of the West Point was the president of University of South Carolina. Very esteemed gentleman, very important, long history. He made one mistake in a speech, and he said a line without giving proper citation, and guess what? He lost his job. So that's for you too. If you have copied content on your website, or if you had someone else build it, one of those cheapo companies, and they put the content on it, I almost guarantee you, I almost would place a bet that they use duplicate content that you're using all over the internet, and that you're never going to rank for that. Why would the search engines return the content that they think is plagiarized? Like, why would they do that? They fired this amazing gentleman. All right. So no, we don't do duplicate content. We want to make sure there's not server errors, blocking some files, or something like that. Okay. You want to look at your internal linking structure, as I mentioned before. This is a little more tricky. You look at your anchor text, what words are actually linking to other pages? Is there a structure? You want to have high value links. You want to look at your page speed. This is in the download that I gave. You want to look at your page speed. And you can improve that with caching, changing your hosting, optimizing your content, or using a CDN. And it's 12:51. So just here are the key points. It's ongoing process. Okay. It's not done. It's not ever done. You want to do keyword research, you want to do your on-page optimization, and these advanced techniques. And I am going to take some questions. And if you would like a worksheet that shows you examples of where some of these things are, just to remind you, and those are beginner things for you to start on every page. It will be a good little chunk of work for you to download that and then go through every page of your website and do all of the things that are on there, right? That'll be a nice project that will get you started. And that should be, you should start to see some movement with your website. Now, movement doesn't happen right away. It takes a little while. So when you make these changes, you need to give Google time to come, or search engines, I should say, come around and re-index your website. And so sometimes it takes, 3 months for it to appear. So start now, don't wait. That's my point. So that's it. So let's do some questions if we have some.
We do, Jennifer. Thank you very much for that outstanding presentation. We will do a few questions in the remaining few minutes we have left. One question from a listener: is having a Canva web page bad for SEO?
You know what? I have not dealt with a Canva web page. So look, as sometimes the platform can hold you back a little bit, right? This is what I would say to you. If you built it, if you did a Canva web, I'm going to assume that the Canva web page that you did it yourself. Okay. So, because I don't think many professionals would build in Canva. Okay. So that's a DIY system, which is fine, right? This is in Canva, by the way. I use Canva a lot. This is what I would say to you. First of all, you need to get all the things done. Like I was saying in here, you need to get your title, meta description set. You need to know your keywords are. You're going to write really good content, optimize your images, and get your content all optimized. Once that's all done, if you're still having problems, then you can move to another platform. But, generally when I meet with people, it's not the platform that's the problem. It's what they have not done yet is the problem. So I would say, if you're worried about not ranking, I would go through, if you've done all these things and you've really optimized it and you're not seeing any results, then maybe it might be Canva at that point, but you need to do these things first.
Thank you. Next question: how valuable are blogs to the SEO process?
Well, okay. Remember what I said just about they love new content. So that's good. So what that does is when you are posting new content, such as blogs or articles on your website on a regular basis, search engines, every time they're not, as soon as you press post, it's not publish. It's not they're not oh, let's go index it, right? They're not waiting to do it. So they're going to come around on their schedule whenever they come around, and they'll see you have new content. They'll be like, oh, they have new content. Oh, they have new content. So what that does is, and they know that your website is being updated on a regular basis. So it is helpful. If you have a website, I have seen websites that have not been updated since 2012, for real, right? There's a lot of those out on the internet, right? So Google knows that search engines know that they're stale, and they're probably not going to return those because they're probably not the best. Information from back then is not current, right? So adding the blogs post to your website, or articles or fresh content like that, recipes or whatever you can add to your website, galleries, anything is a good thing, because search engines will see that you're updating your website and they want updated websites. So yes, it is a good thing to do blogs, but not generic blogs. Like I said, not like just going in and having AI write a blog post. That's not helpful. That's a good start. You can use that to start. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm like, we are heavy AI users at our agency. We use AI a lot. Okay. But we use it to take our work and times 10 it, to 10x our work. We take AI to take what we do to make it even better. Okay. So that's how you want to think of AI, not as that is the answer. Okay. It's a tool, just a tool.
Another couple of quick questions. With a local service business, how important is it to have the location noted? Cities, surrounding cities, county? Do you need to list them all?
On your website, I would. Well, first of all, if you are a local business, you have to have your address on your website. So in the footer and or the contact page, but I would definitely put it in the footer of every page if you're a local business, and on your contact page. I meet with a lot of people who are local businesses who work out of their home, like, I don't want to put my address on there. Okay, well, you're not going to get local clients very easily. It's just not. I mean, it's a choice. I like, I don't want to put my home on there either, but it's like, that's the way it is, because Google wants to know, or search engines want to know. I could put down that my place is in Kalamazoo. I could put that down. If I can't prove that, like so there's a lot of nebulous in there, right? So search engines don't like that, because they're in business. And if they return something that is wrong information, they're going to get in trouble. So they want to return exact information. And those near me search, when someone does near me, like, you don't need to put the words near me on your website. If you are a plumber near me, you don't need to put near me, electrician, whatever. You don't need to put those words. Do you know what happens there? That is indicator to search engines to say, oh, they're looking for something proximity to them, and they are going to know where your device is at that moment. And they're going to triangulate around all the addresses that they know around. So if you put a city, how can they triangulate that? They can't, right? But if you have an exact address, like my device is here and your address is here, we know that we're close to each other. And so it's more likely to return that in the search. Okay. So you want to put your address there. And then I do like to list the towns. I list the towns either in the footer, or I list them on the contact page. And then you can also, there's another thing we didn't talk about. It's called building geolocation pages, so geo-targeted pages. So basically building landing pages that are targeted towards each area. That is a really good technique as well. So building special landing pages that are like plumber in Orlando, Florida, right? And so then you would talk about why you're a great plumber in Orlando, Florida, maybe some of the things that are around Orlando, Florida, and people that are Orlandinians are concerned about in that area, right? That they're not concerned about in Colorado or whatever. So you could build a landing page around that. That's another way you can use your towns.
Just a follow-up question came up. If it's a service business that doesn't have a physical address, how do they do that?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about. I have a lot of people who have a service business and they operate out of their home. It's the same thing. You got to have an address. So either I suggest go find some really cheap office space, that if someone has anything where you can get a desk and just say, I'll pay you $50 a month. Can you just, PO boxes don't count. They don't count for this. So if I can just rent that desk for $50, and then you can put it on your Google business profile and your listings, you have to verify that. And how you verify that is with a video now. So you need to actually have a physical space that you can verify and show with a video. It helps a lot more. You can also order directories and citations. You cannot order directories if you don't have a business listing, an address. And that's another thing that you need to do, but that's off page. And we weren't talking about off page today.
One last question, and then we'll close the call. The name of your book again, please, Jennifer.
Oh, you want to see it? It's called Building DIY Websites. So it's for dummies. It's the dummies series. That's my name. So yeah, so that's my book. It took me a long time to write this. I don't know if you've ever written a book, but this was really hard. And I already have version 2 coming out because I've read through the entire thing and I have lots of chicken scratch. So it's of things that I want to change, but it's good. I won't, it's just mainly grammar and stuff like that. You know, going through it, it's like so much. So anyways, that's it.
So that's all the time we have today, Jennifer. Thank you very, very much for the very dynamic and content-rich presentation. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar and the materials will be available within the next day or so on our website under On-Demand Webinars. Our next live webinar is Tuesday, October 8th at noon, and the topic is Launching Your Own Brand with Ramon Peralta presenting. Look for the specifics on fairfieldcounty.score.org. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen or visit our website and click Request a Mentor. Also, would you please fill out the evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar? On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending this live webinar, and a great big thank you to you, Jennifer. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.